J. Cole just released Applying Pressure, the off-season documentary, and it came out today because, the album's dropping on Friday, which we're reviewing, by the way, guys. Stay up with us on Thursday night. And it's crazy because there's a lot of stuff that we figured out throughout this whole documentary. There might be features, there might be a new sound in store. And guys, let us know your expectations for the off-season because this is going to be a massive album, probably one of the biggest albums that's going to drop in 2021. So Lou, talk to me about your expectations and your thoughts off of the documentary already.
Yeah, so the first major takeaway obviously is that we see 21 Savage in the documentary. So my guess is that we might have him on the album because they collaborated on 21 Savage's album I Am Greater Than I Was on the song A Lot, and that was a beautiful collaboration that nobody expected. And that's exactly what Cole's going to do here, is that he's going to bring us something new, something that none of his fan base, actually expects, because he said that in the documentary that he had a problem getting too comfortable with his sound, and that on this project he wants to experiment and really, take more risks than, let's say, he would have in the past.
So how do you feel about that? Because there's a lot of different ways he could go with that. Like either, he could experiment on his production. He could experiment on maybe the types of genres that he's bringing into the album. Maybe his writing. We've gotten so many different J. Cole projects that have different sounds, different writing styles, different flows, different deliveries, different types of storytelling. So what do you expect as far as that coming into it? Because I have high expectations for all of it.
I feel like it's going to be more of his sound. Like on the song Interlude, which is the lead single of the off-season, he fell into more of a melodic pocket, and it's the same kind of pocket that he was in on Middle Child, where, it's kind of, he's bringing in that singing type of aesthetic into the rapping, and that's something that we might see more of on this album. And I feel like, that's exactly what he wants to do, is, show people that his vocal range and just his artistry as a whole is much deeper than we've already seen before.
And I like that because it's also at a point in his career where he even admitted that he was at a crossroad where either he gets complacent with his career because he had put out classics already and he was benefiting from the fruits of his labor, or he really tries to push his artistry, and obviously he chose that second option. And now you could sort of see, like, throughout the documentary, the different types of processes he has. So he recorded this album apparently in his home studio. He also probably is going to have features on this because he did admit that, he felt like, yes, I like the whole idea of the no features, especially for his starting projects, but he
doesn't want any regrets.
He doesn't want any
regrets.
Because
a big thing about being an artist is collaboration. It's like making a movie. You need a big team to make music at the end of the day. And obviously, in terms of the production, he's always worked with teams aside from producing some of his own songs. But he doesn't want that missed opportunity of, like, I could have collabed with Jay-Z. I could have collabed with guys like 21 Savage who inspire me and that sort of stuff. So to see him tap in with new people, that would be awesome. So let me ask you, what are 3 features that you'd want to see on this thing?
Well, speaking about Hove himself, that's one of them. Mr. Nice Watch was all right. It's not one of my favorite J. Cole songs, but I'd like to see where J. Cole takes this with him because, he did come up through Rock Nation. It was obviously Jay-Z who kind of kickstarted his whole career and put him on that level. So, you could probably expect him on there. Well, not expect. We'll probably be blessed. And think about it, J. Cole's on, like, that sort of mogul vibe right now. He's coming to the end of his career. He's coming into, like, this new age of knowledge. And, Jay-Z's been there, based on what we heard on
It would make sense for him to be honest.
It would make sense. So another guy I would like to see is Jid. J.I.D. Well, I call him Jid. Well, you probably have to call him J.I.D. But
people call him both, man, at this point.
But regardless of what we call him, he's one of the most talented rappers in the industry right now. And, he's gearing up to release his project, The Never Story. And
The Forever Story, excuse
me. The Never Story. But regardless, it's just cool to see him come together with Cole because, you look at how there's such two technical rappers and guys that could spit at crazy, insane speeds and how that could come together on a song. I love to see that. Another feature, we had mentioned this in the previous video, was Corday. He's coming into his own. He's really leading this new generation for lyrical and conscious rap while still having this great market appeal. So I think that co-sign would be good. So based on my 3, what are 3 other features you'd like to see?
Definitely Cause, because obviously J. Cole, if he is going to have features, he probably will feature some of his Dreamville artists. And I just love songs like Knock the Hustle Remix and Zendaya. I feel like their chemistry is always on point. And whenever J. Cole has a feature, like we saw in his 2018 feature run, we have that competitive spirit in him. So that's going to bring that out of him if he works with Cause again. Apart from that, maybe a Beyonce feature, because I feel like if Cole is going to do features, he's going to do it in a major way, because this is going to be the first time since Born Sinner that he actually had features. So why not have Beyonce on one of your hooks? Because that would be, it'd be beautiful, man. Lastly, I would probably want to see Nas because, I mean, Nas is one of J. Cole's biggest inspirations and really got him into hip hop. So to see him work with, one of his mentors and to see that story of, let Nas down off of Born Sinner, that whole story come full circle where he feels like he disappointed his idol and now they're, kind of going bar for bar in a song, that'd be massive and that'd be really cool to see. But I mean, J. Cole doesn't need to have features here, but the way that he's talking about the album, about taking these risks and not wanting to miss out on collaborations, it's probably going to happen and they're probably going to be fire.
Another reason why I think this whole project might have a shift in the sound and the aesthetic is because of, him kind of saying, okay, the fall off is going to be my last project, and he had admitted that Middle Child was supposed to be on there, and that he just said, fuck it, you know what, I want to release this, like I can't wait on this any longer. And that's what I feel as if is nice about this new creative process that he had mentioned, is like, the way he's writing is much more fluid. He had mentioned, he had said that, okay, listen, in the past I would go over my bars and I was unsure of myself, I was unsure about my creative processes, but what had changed within this process was him coming to his own and him understanding everything that he wants to put into this project. So do you think we could expect a lot more fluidity in the content matter and maybe more of a really well-focused J. Cole project?
Yeah, probably. I mean, in the documentary, he actually says how a big thing was him lacking inspiration, and that's what kind of made him become lazy when making music. But I feel like he probably didn't overthink this one too much. The fall off looks like there was a lot of thought behind it, like he wants to execute a specific concept and that he wants his ideas set in stone to be perfectly the way he envisioned it. But for the off season, I feel like he's maybe taking a more casual approach and really trying to just show off his lyrical abilities and just his abilities as an artist in general. But to go off that even further, I just feel like the competitive Cole is back. The same Cole that we saw on a song like Everybody Dies, because even on the interlude to this album, which is called Interlude, the last bar of the song is "I'm at your neck." So I feel like even with the title of the documentary, Applying Pressure, he's really going to go for everybody's neck and wanting to show people that he's at the top of the game and maybe nobody else can compete with him this year.
And I like that because right now the throne is for overtaking, and we had done a video on who would drop the best project this year if they all end up dropping. Well, we know J. Cole's dropping for sure. If Drake drops his CLB, Kendrick drops his new album, and when J. Cole drops the off-season, who will really take that throne? I do think it is Cole, and that was my prediction just because of this type of energy he's projecting and the type of stuff he's talking about. I mean, you talk about how many people need inspiration in society right now and what he could come out with, it would be fucking groundbreaking.
And look at the way that he did the rollout for this album, man. I mean, we haven't seen a good rollout in so fucking long, and Cole knows exactly how to relate and connect to his fans, and that's what he's doing here. He's giving us an inside scoop of, what a day of recording at the studio is like for him, and kind of, what are the personal struggles he goes in, that go through his mind when he's thinking about putting an album together. And it just goes to show that he's hyping us up the right way, and that, this album could very well end up being one of his best, man. I mean, the way that he came off on that interlude with, those crazy bars, those vivid images of, him seeing people dead in the street and how that affects him.
Inspirational.
It's inspirational, and Cole wants to be that voice, for his community. He always wanted to kind of guide people like he did on KOD, where he advocated against drugs. That's something that I think he's going to do on the off-season too, is where he's going to be rapping about kind of the injustices and what he could do, kind of how he could use his platform to step in and kind of, maybe create social change to some degree.
And I like that because each one of his projects has a certain element of that. I mean, going back on that KOD thought, I mean, that was the perfect concept album for the current climate of the industry at that time. I mean, think about the amount of drug use that was being promoted, and how the industry was just really changing it to something that was completely different that we saw, and he felt the need to step in and give his opinion and his voice on it. So, I mean, regardless of like what I think is going to happen, I think that it's going to be quality nonetheless. And I do think that this may be his best project just because of the type of energy he's bringing in. I don't think this is going to take a long time for me to sit with, especially for how long I've had For Your Eyes Only for and how long I've had 2014 for. But I mean, the way he's coming in right now and saying how he's pushing the boundaries of his artistry, I'm super hyped.
Yeah, and we also didn't talk about the album cover, which, we kind of see a basketball net in flames and Cole standing in front of it, dressed all in black. And I feel like that symbolizes the end of kind of the mixtape era Cole, of that narrative of him kind of, drawing the parallels between being a basketball player and being a rapper, where he feels like practice makes perfect. And that's exactly what he had time to do ahead of the offseason. He dropped 2 singles off the Lewis Street. He dropped Middle Child. He did the collective album with, Dreamville. So he's had practice to kind of perfect his craft. And this really might be his best album yet. And we're covering this on Friday, guys, so be sure to tune in for the review.
Thank you guys for watching the whole video. Hit that subscribe button to join the family. We're doing weekly reviews. We're giving you guys all the updates in the industry. Plus, we have our series called What to Expect, where we actually take you through the album before it drops. Plus, if you guys want to chat with us, you guys could join our Discord server. The link is in the bio. You guys could talk hip-hop with us there. Thank you guys for watching again. And guys, I'll see you on the next one.